no strength in numbers. Like, you can go to a school with 2,000 kids, and like, you know, you can be in a lunchroom where like there's 300 people, 400 people there. Somebody says something that's wrong, and nobody will say anything, and the kid will feel powerless. And what happens is the bully realizes that he got away with it, and he'll do it again, and he'll do it again, and he'll do it again, and again and again and again, until the kid either, you know, lashes out, becomes a bully himself somehow, or does again the ultimate thing and gets depressed and takes their life. I don't know, man. It's crazy that I was asked to do this workshop because it made me really think about it, and I don't understand why it happens. It makes me want to go out to a bunch of different schools and tell people to stop doing it. It doesn't make sense at all. What are some of the side effects of bullying? Besides the obvious, like I said, and I said to think both sides. So think about the bully too. Like what are the consequences, or what goes wrong in a situation where somebody becomes a bully and somebody is bullied? You guys have been quiet. I'm actually gonna ask both of you.
I think a bully is. Oh, it's not. No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, now you guys are talking at the same time.
I forget. I think, like from the bully side, at a point in time, like, what if they wanted to like stop? They might not know how, but that's all they've been doing for a while. So it may be difficult, and often the reason why the bully has to do with their own insecurities and their own feelings of like, no self-worth or whatever. And then from the side of the person being bullied, there's depression that comes, and they'll take on like narcotics, and then suicide, they'll change like their view of themselves.
For somebody who's that articulate, I'm surprised you can say more throughout this. Just consider that the next time you're somewhere where the space is open and you can speak, so you can speak very well. Yourself?
I don't know, whenever I see a bully, I feel really bad for them, I don't know, just because there has to be something that's forcing them to go out and make other people feel bad. It's crazy how they don't have the capability of like just the empathy to understand like what they're doing to other people. I just can't understand that. And I know, like, because I have a friend who, he can be a bully sometimes, but I can tell that he always gets bullied by this guy that he just looks up to so much. And so you can kind of see, like, he's kind of like a big brother and he bullies him, and then he kind of gets beat down and he just goes and bullies other people. And so there has to be something that's forcing you to do something.
Right, some bullies get bullied. You know what I mean? And the only outlet they have is somebody else that they can bully, and then it becomes a chain, it becomes a vicious cycle, and that's probably the worst possible thing that can happen. Why would somebody who gets bullied want to, put that on somebody else? But you're right, they do lack the empathy, and it's strange because, it's a perfect opportunity to feel what somebody's going through and not do that, but instead they're doing the opposite. I don't necessarily agree with that, of course, and you're right, like, it's very strange to see and it hurts to see. I'm going to ask you two as well. So maybe you guys both speak one.
I think what you two are talking about is that they feel such a sense of powerlessness outside, like they can't control certain things, so that when they come to an environment where they feel like they can be in that position of power or have that control, I think that's kind of the reason why. So instead of being empathetic, it's like an opportunity for them to kind of show that. So I would say that's why. For the bullies, for people who are bullied, it's that internalization. Like I work with a lot of young people, and I've talked to people who literally, if you told them like you're special, they would say no. And there's no possible way that could ever be true. Or like, that people actually love you. No. Like they've been bullied to the point where that is all that they can see or think of themselves, and I think that is the saddest thing to see.
That's true.
I don't know. Like, you have your typical bully as a little one that when they go home, you don't know what's going on. They could be living in a working days and everything. So that's when they just focus everything on putting other people down instead of themselves.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so when you're looking at side effects, I have, not personally, this is is not my story, but I do have a friend, and I consider like one of my probably my best friend, like girlfriend. But
This actually happened to you, didn't it?
no.
The way she said it.
Don't do that. She's bullying me.
That's true. Hey, stop it. This is wrong.
This is happening. Not bullying.
But yeah, one of the side effects that she believes, and I honestly, from her story, believe has happened, is that her entire life, like everything that is happening to her now, is a result of being bullied from here to here. And it started when she was like, probably in like grade 1, 2, where kids would make out her hair. She had like really curly, frizzy hair. And then she'd be alienated in class and she didn't have friends. And anytime she'd like put up her hand in class, they'd throw things at her, yell things. So she stopped putting her hand up. So she stopped asking questions, she stopped doing her work. And she actually had to be moved out of the class. And so, you know, where they have to give you special attention and all that, she stopped putting any effort through. Went to high school, decided, you know, this would be a fun start, but a lot of the people who bullied her came with her to high school. And not only that, but she tried to push herself, like, you know, you have like different degrees of classes, like you have like academic and applied and essential and whatever, you know, different, where they split up the kids. And she actually applied for like applied and academic classes, and she was told by a teacher that she would never be smart enough to be in any of those classes, no matter how hard she tried. So she ended up, you know, basically skipping all her classes, doing this, doing that. There was one teacher that connected with her. She ended up getting like an A+ in one class because the one teacher actually, you know what, he gave her a chance, but because of all of that, she didn't do the classes she wanted to do. She didn't have the experiences that she should have had, and she ended up getting into a career that she didn't want, and now feels stuck for the rest of her life. All because, you know, she tried, but you know, there were so many people holding her down. So what all of that means is that, like, as a side effect of bullying, it's not just like,
it's not short term.
It's not short term.
No, it's not.
This is something that can stick with somebody until the day they die.
Because the need to belong is a biological, evolutionary, developmental need. So if you don't drink enough milk, your bones get weak. If you don't do your homework, you don't do well. Debatable. But if you don't belong, then it's detrimental to your being, right? So it's not us being in this social atmosphere doesn't just mean that we need to belong, it means that other people need to belong, and that it is our job to make sure that they belong.
Right.
And to be an inclusive person.
Inclusive. And the thing about high school is like it should be an inclusive space. Like the idea of it being a school isn't necessarily like it goes beyond that. Like high school is a community. It's a community that you go to every day. You're there. You know, most of your team, like, you know, you're there a lot. Like you're there. We should be there enough for you to know that it's a safe space for you to go to. Some people go to high school and they never feel like it was a safe space. They're 4 years there. It doesn't make sense.
Sorry.
I see it.
I will try and go to your event with my mom.
Sorry, he's been labeled mom.
Birthday party.
No, go ahead.
Okay,
Please,
sorry.
thanks for your contribution. And don't worry about that girl who's hating on you. She ain't.
You're
I
just
know, thank you.
always like, remember.
I know.
I was like, peace. And yeah, for me, wait, Dylan, you haven't said a word, so.
I forgot you were even here.
I remembered your name because of that, so.
Oh yeah, you did remember his name.
See, I said it twice. Don't test me though, because I think I forgot everybody else's. What was the question again? Well, we were talking about what some of the side effects of bullying are, and we were saying think about both of the sides, like the person who's like getting bullied and the person who is the bully. But I think since you've been so quiet, you can speak on whatever you want.
Well, I can definitely talk about the part of someone that I know who has been bullied, and someone who I've definitely stood up for throughout their whole time in high school, well, as long as I was there. My little cousin, he went to the Bullies as well with me, and he has a developmental disorder, as well as something is wrong with his parents' DNA. They're not compatible, so with them having children, every one of their children would have a severe developmental disorder.
I've never even heard of that.
I believe one of them is missing a chromosome, or the two of them. Something is definitely up there where he has it a lot less than his little sister does. His little sister is 8, but she functions like a 6-month-old child. And he's been bullied all throughout high school, and with him, he has the need to fit in. And with him, he doesn't want to just have a small group of friends. He always tries to branch out and talk to everybody in the school, and he gets labeled of being weird or a creeper because he's really nice, he's a friendly person. I guess he just projects the image of being strange because not, everybody.
Because nobody's nice. Because nobody's like him. Yeah. Even though we should all be that
should
way.
be as nice as he is. Yeah.
Nobody would go and talk to every group of people because of the.
I guess they get this
exactly type of stuff like that, where he didn't really see any of that type of stuff. He would just see people as people, and he would talk to them and try and be friendly. Where everyone would be like, "Oh, that guy's weird."
Trying to talk to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he would get pushed around in the halls for it. He's been like, I've never seen it before. You see it in movies. He was locked in the locker once in school. At the Ville, you don't really see that. There is people who definitely do that. But just all through high school, from grade 9 to grade 12, he was bullied by all the different types of people, so he ended up being forced to just pretty much one group of people who understood him and knew that something is actually there that is a little bit off. And I guess he has been taught a lesson that not everybody will take to that type of stuff. Yeah, so it's something.
And I feel like that's the problem, because I feel like there's too much pressure. Like, I changed my mind about everything that I wanted to do about 40 billion times in between being 13 years old when I was told, okay, so pick your courses now. And then I'm supposed to choose the rest of my life.
That's true.
When I'm just starting to be a woman, essentially, right? So all of these changes are happening, and I have to choose what I'm going to do. And if I don't choose something that's conventional that I can pick a course for, then I will be successful.
Right, and what sucks about that is you're going home and hearing that. And you're taking that mentality to school. And you're right, like, it's very strange because school, the system, the curriculum, it's standardized for a reason. They try to find a middle grounds for everybody to thrive and but you're right, because we're not all built to just follow a system or follow a framework, so to speak. It's there for us for starters, and you're right, it's hard to facilitate, it's hard to even think further than what you're being told if people are bullying you. So if you're that kid who wants to do something different, they want to try something different, and people see that and they don't even embrace it right off the bat, you do stuff and you end up going in a path that wasn't meant for you, and you feel stuck. You should talk to your friend, by the way.
Oh, I've spoken to her. My parents have spoken to her.
Oh man.
Yeah,
She's that.
She's okay. She's okay, but she looks back and there are regrets.
Wow.
There are definitely regrets. They're. It's not like how you end up where you are today.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know what decisions I made that might have led me. She knows the different paths. She knows the forks in the road that have led her to this position that she's in today. So.
Hi. What's your name?
No.
If I ask you what said my name is Erik, and I am about. Oh, right, because it's always a long. It was a deep answer. I had a deep answer. That's what I said. I said that I was about safeguarding the future of this generation. But not everybody else said something like that. I'm joking. You guys said very.
I said that I was about an alternative lifestyle, so not living in the typical societal norm. The girl that left said that she was about sports in school, so that was kind of a weird one.
I'd probably say I'm about social justice and a bright future.
Nice. And what are you not about? Chantel or Chanel?
Chanel.
Okay. I asked. So now I know.
No, everyone gets it in stuff.
I would never do it
Everyone
again.
calls me Chantal.
If I call you Chantel, I'm basically a bully, and these guys are.
Bystanders? No.
They're not bystanders today. Today we're learning not to do that. So, what are you not about? So the things that you just can't vibe with, you don't deal with.
I'm not about. I don't like hurting people. I don't like to see other people hurt.
Come to the right place then. Cool. I'm gonna ask you this question since you showed up a little later than all of us.
I thought, well, it told me 7:30. I thought it was.
It's supposed to
I
be
don't know.
it's supposed to be ended.
Oh, man.
But that was wrong.
Somebody
That's
gave
the
it
end.
wrong.
Seriously?
Yeah.
We're wrapping up and things like basically. Well, how much time do you have technically? Like it is.
You
past
told
11.
us.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's like that. You guys are
Yeah.
chilling. Okay, cool. I guess we can talk some more then. So Chanel, I'm gonna ask you this question, and then we're gonna open it up to everybody else. So, what do you think what comes to mind when you think of the term inclusion?
Inclusion. When I think of the term inclusion, I think of basically the root word including, kind of. So including people, including the different attitudes, the different lifestyles, the different mentalities, and basically trying to live and everyone like cope and live together in peace.
Peace. I like that. I say peace all the time. Like when I'm hanging out, I'm having a conversation on the phone. People like, "Bye," I'm like, "Peace." I'm like, what? It could be anybody. It could be the president of the United States. It's like, peace. So I guess it's the hip hop artist in me. Like I love promoting that word because it's something that makes people go. Anybody else have anything to say in terms of the term inclusion?
I can throw mine out. Okay, so I wrote down, when I think of the term inclusion, I think of accepting others not in spite of, but because they're different.
She's like, "Oh, I should say that."
Let's see.
What did you have?
I put accepting people for who they are as they are and celebrating it, recognizing what they have and what they bring.
Right. And wouldn't you think high school should be the place for that of all places, if anything?
I think people are too busy like fronting though, like you
Yeah.
know, they're
Yeah.
too busy fronting to be able to be real enough. I think at some ages, and I think sometimes you have so many questions about who you are, and sometimes you're so afraid to challenge the norm that to speak out is just it's too hard. There's so much pressure, like she said. There's a lot of pressure to figure out who you are. You don't know who you are, and then some people are telling you who they think you are.
Yeah.
And then there's like so many questions that you have. It's such a difficult age, like so it's hard, but
It's true. What I think high schools need to do is they need to start facilitating more things like this within the high school. I think it should be within the curriculum because, I mean, it's true that, of course, we go to school to learn the tools that we need in order to survive out.
When's the last time you used the formula for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Never. Whatever you're about to say.
Area.
Whatever you're about to say.
And you know what's funny? My math teacher said, "Oh, you know when you're going to use it? When you need to put a fence in your backyard." Sorry, I paid something. Tell me how much it's going to cost.
Specialized, yeah. Like, it's true. Like there are things I think that need to be switched in terms of the curriculum. It needs to be a little more human. I think they forget about that human being aspect. It's what I don't understand about teachers and schools and education system is, weren't you guys all kids before? Like, I don't understand how people disassociate themselves from that experience because your children will go through it, your children, like, it's a human experience. High school is an experience. Like, without any sort of shift, it's going to be the same thing each time. And it's the system at large that has the power to change like a child's perspective in terms of like, you know, what high school is going to be like. Before kids even get to high school, they have an idea that it's going to be exactly the things we're talking about. Like, you know, when we watch television, like, it's like that. There's gonna be a bully, there's gonna be the jock, there's gonna be, like, it's so strange because, like, it does not have to appear that way. Like, we have the power to change, like, images. Like, as somebody who's, apart from the fact that I do music, I'm into media. And I went to Ryerson University for radio and television arts and graduated with that degree. So I know all about these cameras and things. It's weird because I'm like in front of them and then sometimes I'm behind them. But it's like, yeah, so I'm very much into media and I'm very much into the power of media and what it can do. And I like the idea that like things can change. We can manipulate the way people perceive them just by virtue of the fact that we can set things up to look a certain way. So like the curriculum, the system, education, I think there's a way, there's got to be a way for you know, administrative offices or whoever's in charge of, you know, what the curriculum is. They've got to find a way to include it because it's important. And, you know, some people make it out fine. Like somebody like me who for some reason was just strong enough to like not worry about what people were saying and feed off of the love I was getting. Not everybody is as lucky. Sometimes it's luck. Like I can't even say it's something I was able to create. Like I might have just been lucky enough to run into the right people and I don't know, just harbor, like have them harbor what I'm doing and push me in the right direction. Some people don't get as lucky within the same school, within the same class, within the same group of friends. Like you can, like you said, you have a best friend who went completely left. And it's like you were right there. So what was the difference between your experience and hers? And it's I think schools have a big role to play, and I don't understand why they're not thinking about that because
you know who makes those changes? Who's made up in a school? Who's in the majority? 2,000 of you.
It's
right?
true.
So if you are telling these people what you want to learn, if you are telling them that this is not a conducive learning environment, then you are the ones that are able to make this change, just like I am. And I'm not taking the onus off of you or anyone else, but we have this power because we are in the majority of being students, right? So it's not enough for us to be mad. Like that is great. Being passionate about something is fantastic. But until you're able to make that change and to come to things like this and to start things like this, then you're able to say, I actually did something about it.
Right. Because I say, like, there's power in words and there's power in action. And, like, you know, you can definitely go to your high school and you can create a movement. You can create something. You can spark the idea that things can't change. Or you can spark the idea that bullying is wrong. Like, a lot of the times, and what I don't like about workshops or what I don't like about when schools bring in guest speakers is they bring somebody in to talk and then leave. And they pay them like $2,000. And I know this because like I've been the person who didn't get a job over somebody who was like experienced in having this discussion. But it's like, you know, you're a person who's you know, not even necessarily relevant to these children, to these kids, and you're coming and you're talking about this stuff. You're saying, don't bully him, this is wrong, whatever. These kids aren't listening to that. Like it has to be self-induced, it has to be grassroots, it has to be something that happens within the environment itself. Like it's not enough to bring somebody, even me, it's not enough to bring somebody like me to a school to say a couple words and go home. Because then all it does is it creates a discussion, the discussion for that day, but tomorrow something else happens. Tomorrow you're on to something else, you're on to the next. It's like it doesn't matter anymore. Like, oh, remember when Erik Flowchild came to our school and spoke about bullying? Yeah, his rhymes were tight. Next topic. Like it shouldn't be like that because this is really important. The next question we had was, have you ever felt excluded from a group or a circle or a clique, so to speak? You know I'm looking at you.
Yeah, well, I was like the loud child in my school, so everybody's like, oh, you're too loud, you're gonna disturb our peace and everything.
Is that why you're so quiet now? Really?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, I'm usually very loud. I always speak my mind. But yeah. So.
You shouldn't stop that. Because if you're the kind of person who's coming to things like this, that means that these are the kind of things that are on your mind. So those are the things you need to speak about. And anybody who tells you not to speak about those things is not with the movement. And they might not be now, but they will be later when they see that you're facilitating things like this on your own and you're getting people on board. So it's okay to be quiet because it's like I'm a quiet person too when I have to be. But if I need to speak on something, I will do it, no problem. problem. So I would tell you, you know, don't let that change the person that you are, because you are that person for a reason, and I mean that. Anyways, anybody else have anything to say about being excluded from a group or community or anything like that?
I am, oh sorry, go. You go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
I think sometimes there's a power in standing alone, especially when you're standing up for something or you're standing by yourself and being able to know who you are and what your values is.
I agree. That's a very important point to make, because again, a lot of the things that I was doing, it's not like people were helping me in high school. When I was trying to facilitate things like reflections, or when I was writing plays or doing any of that stuff, and it's like people don't understand until you see it happen, until you execute whatever it is that's in your head. That's when people start getting on board, because it's like, if I didn't get up on stage and do that little rap during Black History Month in grade 9, people wouldn't have known that I was capable of that, and people wouldn't have been interested in what else I was capable of. So it's true that you should stand on your own too, as much as you can, because on top of all of that, you don't even know who's watching. You don't know who's respecting you. There are people who I had no idea respected the fact that I did music, or respected the fact that I did public speaking, or whatever the case was. And I've known them for years, and it took years for them to come up to me and be like, you know what, I respect what you do. And it's like, this whole time? Some people will be like, nah, not this whole time. You know what I mean? And it's like word, like it's like that. Like some people just, they're not gonna stick to you until a certain point. And I think that's okay, because what that does for me, especially, is it pushes me even harder to try my best to tailor my message, to tailor my art to an audience that could be looking at something else. And when you start getting their attention, it means that you've been doing it long enough, you've been working at it hard enough, and it's something that literally becomes a passion, because if you don't stop regardless of what people are saying, that's your passion. So you should ask yourself, what are you passionate about? And if people start to antagonize you for the things that you love, and you keep doing it, it should let you know that, you know, this is something you're not going to stop doing. And eventually, some people will take to it. Not everybody. Because again, nobody's liked by everybody. And that's one thing that we should know. But it's just a difference when people are bullying you. Because like, I don't have to like anybody, but I respect everybody. Even if I don't like them, I can respect them. And that's something bullies need to learn. Like, even if, the thing is, like, I feel like bullies, it's not even like bullies don't like the people they're bullying. Half the time they like the people. They have no problem with the person, just something they're doing for themselves. And, you know, if you're somebody who's a victim of bullying, if you're somebody who knows someone that's a victim of bullying, it's important to keep that in mind. And even if it gets to the point, like for me, I always believe that people are people. And I know people, even up till now, friends of mine, they'll poke fun at me for anything. And in my head, even now in my head, I take it as bullying to an extent, but I kind of let them do what it is, because I'm strong enough to allow it to happen, given what I know I'm going to do, given what I know I'm doing. It's like, you can go ahead and do, if it makes you feel better, if you actually feel better about what you're doing for now, like, please just go ahead. I've said that to people. If you feel better talking to me like this, keep going. Sometimes they're like, yikes, like I didn't even realize, like I'm talking. Some people don't even realize they're bullies when they're being bullies as well. So sometimes it's good to let them know, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't say you're being a bully, because then it sounds like an attack, but it's like, you know, I don't appreciate it when you do this or that. And I've done that with people, and you know, what people will do, and I'm very into the psychology of people too, and like automatically people will be defensive when you tell them things like that. But what ends up happening is that they'll come around, because it's not like what you said didn't count. It's not like what you said didn't matter. Half the time people will listen to what you have to say, even if you think they're not listening. Like when I do performances, like what I did earlier, you missed it, it was fantastic, but it's okay. Like sometimes you don't think people are listening. If somebody's looking over here and I'm over here, sometimes I feel like they're not listening, but they'll message me on Facebook later, they'll hit me up later and be like, I really enjoyed what you did. It's like, I had no idea. So you shouldn't discredit the fact that people are listening. People are even more open than they think. And sometimes it just takes hearing the right thing. I think that's the end of the questions. I had an idea. I'm not sure if I can pull it off now, because I really wanted a gigantic board. I was gonna try and write a song on the spot about this topic of bullying. We could try it. I don't know if it's gonna work. If we fail, just know that
We're failing together.
we're failing. Thank you. Like we got pretty far. We had a good discussion, did we not?
Yes, we
Can
do.
we have a round of applause for ourselves? I appreciate that. But we can try. Like, it's not necessarily going to be a freestyle per se, because I literally envision a piece of paper and somebody being my assistant and writing down words.
So demanding.
Thank you. I have to be. I really thought it was going to be that serious. What time is it?
5 to
8. We could just go home.
The clock's on the wall.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
You could have made fun of me for that.
5 minutes. We can have 5 minutes together.
We can try it.
Cherish this
Okay.
5 minutes.
Okay, let's see. Given, maybe I'll put on the beat, because literally this is what I had in my head. This is what happened.
This is all you, eh? They have a world changer over there?
World changer,
This is
yeah.
all
We
you.
need the world
This is
changer.
this is your forte over there.
Not a reason.
So I know you guys, nobody here raps, I'm assuming.
That's her Miss World Changers. Her
What?
No, that is not it.
Why did two people just say that then? Why would they lie like that?
She's performed for actions.
I do poetry. I don't do lyrical, but I don't do rap.
But
And
you do
it's not,
poetry.
and it's not freestyle.
That's fine. I'm going to technically try to freestyle this now, but I'm going to need your help, as well as everybody else's help. So she missed out what happened last earlier, so I guess we have to try something. Wait. Okay, so what do we know about bullying so far? What did we talk about? What are the key phrases that you remember from our discussion?
Yeah, it's like, the effects of bullying are like
Side effects.
the side effects.
Or long term?
Yeah.
The side effects of long term. The side effects of long term. That's the first one. That's all I got for now. You guys
Something about
Life-changing moments.
life-changing moments.
Your mom could be a bully too.
Thank you. Anything you're
Can that be the hook? And your mom could be a bully too.
Mom really know what I want her to show it. I think you're not gonna know what I mean. It can be a line. And your mom could really bully too. Okay, cool. See, this is why I do the papers, so I can like read it. So that's all we have. The side effects of long term and your mom could be bullied. And life-changing.
Life-changing moments.
Life-changing moments.
Inclusion. Cool.
You know what we'll do? I'll do it this way. I'm going to start. It won't be that great, but as I rap, you guys can shout out words, and I'll try to work them into the performance. With that said, I should pause my face. So this is my 2-minute. Hi.
Hi there, I'm looking for Andrew.
Right here.
Andrew, Daniel's office. Hi guys, sorry. Sharon, looking for you. You guys just texted us, so we should say,
So yeah, I'm going to attempt a free. I don't even read it. I'm so into like writing and making records now that I don't read freestyle. What I'm gonna try. So again, please shout out words the minute I start, so I can at least try to keep going. Check. Check. I haven't even started making it a rapper. But yo, the side effects are long term. I'm talking about bullying. It's a topic I can put you into it. Nobody said a word yet. That's okay. I'm kind of perfect. I want to be accepted. I want to be accepted. I'm just a little kid. I hope I don't regret it. Going to high school, I mean.
Change the way you think.
Changing the way we think in this ink. Without the ink, it's a freestyle. Life-changing goals. I don't know how to flow without words, but here I go. My name is Flo. I did a workshop. I work a lot. You work not. Not as nice as me. Now I'm just writing on this freestyling lights I see. I don't know what time is it. Anti-bullying, is that what you said?
Types of bullying.
Types of bullying.
Social.
This is hilarious.
Social class.
Yeah.
Bullying can be social. I'm trying to see this without my bifocals. I left them in the car. I'm gonna be a star. And I'm gonna tell bullies that I'm not where you are. Making fun of kids. It's not what it is. It's not how I live. It's not how I live. It's not how I is. No grammar. This is not English. But I came here to relinquish and distinguish between people who know and people who don't. People who flow. Let the beats. After this beat, I'm going over my square. So let's think of words one more time. I might get it. I might just get it. School.
Passion.
I'ma take y'all to school with this passion. Flowchild, listen when I'm rapping. No, I'm not a bully, but I bully beats. Flow is in the game. No, I'm not in the streets. Kinda got the flame, so I brought the heat. Now I'm in the game.
I am honored to welcome you to the second session in our Speak Up for Change workshop series. For your convenience, there is a washroom located down the hall and to your right. And also we've provided light refreshments for you to enjoy throughout the evening. This year's workshops will focus on bullying and inclusion and will involve a range of speakers who will tackle different aspects of bullying, dealing not only with what bullying is, but how it has affected and is affecting today's youth. Each week we will highlight and discuss different aspects of this issue, such as bullying in the rise of social media, the high school experience, and how to be a true rebel. Today's focus will be on the high school experience. Our speaker, Erik Flowchild, a hip-hop artist, director, producer, creative writer, and motivational speaker, will speak about diversity and inclusion through his own experiences in high school, as well as lyrical and interactive performances. The focus of this workshop will be on prevention, intervention, and the high school experience. As we delve into our workshop today, and as we continue our workshops over the next few weeks, I urge you to open your minds and hearts and absorb the lessons taught. To take these concepts outside of this room and into your daily lives and become citizens of change. If you believe that bullying is wrong and harmful to our society, let today be the beginning of us becoming the change that we want to see. Now it is with great pleasure that I welcome our speaker for today, Erik Flowchild.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. You hear that? Thank you. I am here today to talk about bullying, but the first thing I want to do, because I have to, is prove that I'm an artist and perform for you a song as candid as I am when I speak to my audience and as friendly as I seem. I'm not saying I'm not friendly, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to my art, when it comes to the music that I make and the things that I say, sometimes I do get a little deeper than you would imagine. So I'm going to preface this song by letting you know that it's something that I use usually to introduce myself to a crowd, big or small. This song is called Boys to Men. You might have heard it, you might not have, but it definitely speaks on my experience growing up in general. Like, high school is something that we're definitely going to speak about, but I'm the kind of person who looks at my life holistically, and I look back to see where I'm going. I look back to see where I am, and this song is a testament to my experiences growing up as a boy, growing up as a young black male, growing up as a young black male who went to university. I'm going to stop talking and let the record speak for itself. And excuse me if I get a little deep, because this song does that to me. I like this. This is small and intimate. I'll try not to move too much. 1989, welcome to the world, Flo. I was a little boy, could have been a girl though. Cause you got a twin sis named Erica, so they called you Erik. Welcome to North America. A freedom song brought your mom to this area. You couldn't do no wrong for as long as she carried you. Society tells her it's worth it, but scary, huh? Just make sure you work on his character. When you start to raise him, let him know he's a dude. Give him cars to play with. Make sure he wears blue. Tell him to never cry. Tell him he's gotta do what it takes to get rich, if he's scared to. And that's how they prepare you. Though it isn't fair to, they will compare you. I'm just a little child doing what I can. All the while I'm trying to understand. Will that make me a man? In that first verse, definitely speaks upon gender roles, and when you talk about bullying, that's actually something we need to look at. Because sometimes women will bully men, and sometimes men will bully women, or boys and girls, what have you. This is the second verse. Check. Yo, so I've acknowledged all the steps, and though I got a plan, the pressure from the opposite sex is out of hand. So you're looking for a man, the man dates you shouldn't. Don't be looking for no man unless, yo, it's a woman, and cause she got a she can pass for a woman. Now she got a man. Heard a man's got his hands full and society tells her, you want to get married, huh? Just make sure you work on his character. When you start to date him, let him know he's a dude. He gotta give you cars to play with. And make sure you wear new shoes. But you only lose trying to shape us. And we can't hide the makeup like you do with makeup. The worst is when you break up. Even when it stays true, but I don't call them breakups. I call them breakthroughs. But you're so worried that one woman will break you. You date two will make him hate you. How does that make you a man? But you're so worried that one woman will break you. You date two will make him hate you. How does that make you a man? Clearly you can tell I'm used to gigantic stages with thousands of people watching and lights flashing all over the place. This third verse is very personal. Check. Man in a house, but there's a man in it. Got the dice in this game of life, but can't win it. And it's not like he lost, I mean he had me. So props to your pops, I'ma make us happy. It's odd, money can literally break the family. Tell God I need a miracle to make it snappy. My job is to be lyrical and win the Grammy. Can't stop cause it's a ritual to do what can't be done. It's obvious I'm the one to break the chain, I ain't done. I take the pain, I ain't run. I made the name as a child. I'm a man, I ain't done. Still I ain't fit in the crowd. Check the beat of my drum. Even the beat of my heart will let you know where I'm from. The doctor said it's irregular and hard to regulate. The way that it pumps, I feel the way that it jumps. And what a way to remind me. I can't be no bum, I can't be no beathead. I can't be no drunk. I mean a brother can be dead by the end of the month. That's what's up. What's up crept up on me. Impressions for life. I can't be thinking about death for the rest of my life. Every time I woke up, I gotta go sleep. I'm talking about the kind that's 6 feet deep. So I got my degree. And I'm still around, mama, holding back tears as I put my gown on her. And I look around, the only black male. This white guy tells a joke, he don't know me that well. He's not a racist, he's at home. He's saying that it's weird that I make it. He's such a, I shut up and laugh though. Really I should cuss him, calling me the token. Really I should bust him, but this is my stuff. And I never gave up. I got this piece of paper in my hand. Does that make me a man? And if so, by whose standards? I was told before, but I'm looking for new answers. I can't lie, I think I'm a guy-ish. Like saying I'm 5'7", even though I'm 5'6" and a half. And the path that I chose as an artist got me more in the light. Some men ignoring the light that these kids never asked for. These kids need a dad go, but what if you dads go and act like an example? I had a conversation with Death though, and she told me to live. Took her advice, but I'm tracing my steps. And you already know what it is. You already know what it is. You already know it's flow. Clap if you want to start dancing. I'm over these things, you know. Do we have those worksheets?
Absolutely.
Spread them out. Really quickly, again, that song was called Boys to Men. And if you can hear what I'm talking about, one of the things that speaks to me about that record is the fact that I went through a depression. And has anybody here, because this is an intimate environment, we can talk. Has anybody actually experienced a depression before? Like, anyone gone to a clinical, you can't see if tomorrow is even gonna happen kind of depression? Because a lot of people will say things like, I'm depressed, not realizing that there's an actual attachment to that word. There's something deeper involved than being sad. And a lot of kids who end up getting bullied end up being depressed. And they end up feeling like there's no reason or there's no point to trying to live, because whoever it is that's antagonizing them is giving them the idea that their life isn't worth it. And I think that's serious, because a lot of times people don't get over that and they end up doing the worst possible thing, which is committing suicide. So I just want to take maybe 10 minutes to go through these questions that I have on the sheet, have you answer them, and then we can discuss them as a group. I'm not really into structure when it comes to talking to people and discussing topics, so these are just conversation starters. We'll see where the conversation goes. But I'm going to stop talking for 10 minutes just so you guys can go through that sheet. Cool? That's all I have planned to you. Fantastic. Is she going to get some?
She's going to get some, yeah.
I wonder if I should keep talking if that's the case. Probably not.
That was really
You can just freestyle. You can do that too.
That was good, did you say?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't give you guys a chance to really respond. Is there
I wanted to cry one point, then I was happy and then sad again. It was just like a roller coaster.
Right, and usually...
But great, it was fun.
Thank you.
It was an amazing roller
Thank
coaster.
you. Usually when I perform that song, again, I'm somebody who's like, when it comes to performances, I need a stage. Like, this kind of environment is cool because I can interact with you guys, but just to truly see what I'm going through while I'm performing those lyrics, I just need the right space. This is a good space to talk about it, but again, I wanted you guys to see at least where I'm coming from. So thank you guys for your compliments. It was great. I have a show coming up May 30th, if anybody cares.
Where?
It's at On the Rocks. I don't know if you've been
Where is
there before. On 1600 Steeles Avenue West. It's by York University, but it's 19 plus.
Yeah, it's a club, isn't it?
Yeah, club slash, yeah. I mean, if anybody here is too young, but they have an older brother or sister that is into music,
Or fake ID.
or a fake ID,
I don't know this is
I can get you in, you know? Because when I perform, I usually perform with a live band. I have, drummers, saxophone, that kind of thing. Again, this is very small scale, which is cool, but I would love you guys to see, the actual Erik Flowchild experience.
So I got the address and I got the date, May 30th. So the time and the venue again?
The venue's called On the Rocks.
On the rocks.
And I think it starts at, I want to say 7 o'clock, it'll be 7 o'clock.
Any other time too? Bro, any other time too?
For the record, when I ask these questions, just know that it's going to be more than just you saying yes or no. Not that I saw her sheet or anything. Well, you can write that, but just think about what you're going to experiences with people who are willing to listen. Does anybody else have anything to say about the topic?
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah, since you made her go.
Since I made you go, I'll go. To answer the question, let me go back to my sheet. Have I ever been bullied? I have been multiple times. Multiple times, like at every age and stage in my childhood, I remember there being at least one person. And not just not my parents were always there. Home was my refuge, and that was when there was like a Facebook.
Right.
Things didn't follow you home. but I was bullied at every stage of my life, whether it was, like even I had this best friend named Danielle, and looking back now, she did like a number on my self-esteem in order for her to feel good about herself. And moving to Canada when I was young, you know, being the one kid in the class who was younger than everybody else, who sounded different from everybody else, who, you know, I wasn't used to this system of education where, you know, like little differences where you don't stay in one classroom all day. And it's like they take little things and they blow it up and they make you feel like nothing. So I could go on and on and on and on for hours about different experiences I've had with different people I've had. For every second of a day, I can think of another person who's done that to me, because I've always been the type of person that people can walk all over. But I believe that my experiences have made me into the person I am today.
And I agree. I think the exact same thing, so I know what it is. And it's interesting how somebody, you know, how people, when people bully people in high school, like you have to ask why they're doing that. Like for me, I feel like it's like for them, it might be a self-esteem thing for them. It might be a lack of respect for self. You know, like sometimes you gotta look at the internal reasons why somebody would bully a kid, or like why a group of people would bully one person. And we'll get into that. I'm gonna get to the next question, which is basically a reversal of the first question. Have you ever been a bully? Anybody?
Okay, if they do something that is very inappropriate and then you retaliate, are you being the bully or are you just cause and effect?
I asked myself that question, and the reason why I can say I've been a bully is because I've been the person to retaliate. And
even though what they did was beyond what you could think of, and what happened out of what that person did and the way you reacted, could you still be considered a bully?
I think it's situational, but I do think that you should consider yourself a bully in that moment. Because I mean,
because it puts you in the same position as
they
put you in.
You're like the point is you're antagonizing somebody. So like regardless of the fact that they've done it to you, like to I guess harbor that kind of energy and to give it back, it's not doing anything to the solution. It is, you are standing up for yourself in a sense, but the bigger picture doesn't get solved, and the bigger issue isn't solved in that regard. And I can say I've definitely done that. Like I've had people bully me, and I've had words for them, because I mean, as you can see, I'm somebody who's very much into words. I'm very much into the power of words, and I use them either for good or evil. You know what I mean? Like literally depending on the situation. And when it comes to people, like you heard me say, I don't like injustice. I hate seeing bullies do what they do, and I hate being a target of it. So sometimes I do get hot, I do get heated, and I'll try to retaliate. And in those moments, I'm being a bully, because I know how. Like we all know how to be a bully. That's the thing. Like we all know what pushes people's buttons. We all know what it takes to make somebody angry, and we've all done it before. I'm sure we have. And the thing is, if you're being a bully in those moments, and it's hard to say that the world isn't going to continue to be like that, because positivity and negativity, they're going to go hand in hand. But what we need to do is try and find a way we need alternative ways to deal with these solutions. Go ahead.
To relate to Karon's, what she had to say, if you don't do anything about it, does that enable them to walk all over you?
Well, for me, this is the thing, like I mentioned, this guy who used to push me around in grade 9 ends up respecting me. And that's because he saw the things that I was doing. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because, like, in terms of prevention, at least for me, I'm the kind of person who likes to just do what I'm doing, not in the hopes, but with the anticipation of people realizing how important I am to where I am, to the environment that I'm in. So being in grade 9, being pushed around, I ended up being the leader of the Black History Club in grade 9. Well, I wasn't the leader in grade 9, but I was somebody who participated. So my actual first rap performance as an artist was in the 9th grade. I stood on stage in high school and I performed the rap. I stood there with my eyes closed, the lights were all shiny, it was scary, but I did it. And immediately a lot of people who didn't respect me respected me. And it was literally just because they saw that I was capable of doing something that was cool. I hate to say it, but like if I didn't do that, it probably would have been a harder mission. And I know not everybody's gonna be the person to get up on stage and do something for everybody to see so that you can get like love for it. But like we all have something that we can offer, and when you show people that, I'm sure it'll come with like, you know, hate and scrutiny, but for the most part, people will love what you do, and people who love what you do will defend you. And it becomes a thing where the person who's a bully looks stupid for even, you know.
My story's opposite. It's like I'm one of the popular kids at my school in terms of athletics, and I'm on the wall and everything like that. And it's like I don't know who this person is, but it's a grade 11 and you're younger than me, and she's using the racial card, like the whole racial aspect, and it's like I didn't even know that still like existed. Like why people still like. She comes up to me and I have no idea who she is and starts yelling at me and saying all these things, and it's like, well, what do? People say you fight her. I don't know who to fight her. People say you talk back. I don't want to do that. But I don't want to allow her to walk all over me. That's a sense where you like you're being bullied.
Right.
What do you do in the?
What's weird is that for me, I can speak to a similar experience in terms of race and because bullying and race, it's crazy that you're right, it still happens.
Yeah, it still happens. It's unbelievable. And we're in North America versus like you're in another part of the world. Yeah, I wanted to talk on that because like me going to high school, being a black youth in high school, I was again somebody who was very much into my academics. I was into being an intellectual. You know, I was a smart kid, and black and white kids would come up to me and be like, "You're pretty smart for a black guy," or like, you know, "You're a smart black." Like it was something that bothered me because they don't realize that it's bullying when you're telling me that. You're bullying me because you're making me feel again like you're
different.
Intelligence is dependent on
like it should be dependent on my race or I shouldn't be smart because I'm black. And it's like most of the people were black telling me that. And it's like you're bullying our race now. Like what are you doing? So for you, like I think. Apart from the fact that is this just one person who's bothering you?
Oh yeah, just one.
I mean, and do you see that like everybody else is giving you love in the sense that like they see what you do and they appreciate it?
Everyone seems to laugh. But,
and like you gotta realize that that's literally all it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So she shouldn't have any power over you. But what's sad is that she needs something, and I know it's strange for you to approach her in a way that's kind and like, you know, opposite of what she's expecting, but there's got to be a way for you, maybe not even directly, maybe indirectly, to find out what it is that her issue is, and like maybe find a way to facilitate something in her that she likes about herself or that she likes about a group of people. Like I feel like maybe she just doesn't have something to hold on to. Like you're obviously somebody who works very hard and knows, you know, what they like to do, and you like to show people what you can do, and you know, not everybody's capable of doing that. People get there eventually.
Yeah.
But for her, I feel like she's gonna need something to realize what it's gonna take, and I don't know, like you shouldn't retaliate. One thing I know about fighting, and I tell people this all the time, like to get into a fight is the lowest form of social interaction. Like it requires no thought whatsoever. And as somebody who believes in being an intellectual, and I believe in you know, having smart conversations, like you know, fights. I hated seeing fights in high school. I'd be the person to walk away as soon as fights started.
Yeah, definitely. It's just she's one of those people where like the hands in the face,
and it's
like yelling over top of you, and it's like that sarcastic, like it's okay, like you're that way, it's okay. And I'm like, okay, like it's very, I don't know, do you like the sense of bullying, being the bully?
Yeah, like I would just try hard not to hear her so much. Like try not to let it bother you, because again, there's a whole group of people on the other side that are showing you love, and they're probably looking at her like she's crazy. And what sucks about that is it'll probably fuel what she's doing for her to do it even more.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a way to flip that, and I think we want to talk about that later. I'll get into the next question. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Do you know somebody who is a bully, and are you guys like cool? Are you guys friends? Like, you know, is it something that you kind of just watch happen?
I know someone. And I wouldn't say we're close friends, but well, I guess technically it's went because I'm graduating now, but we went to university, we did classes together. And she's the type of person, and she'll even admit it, that if she doesn't get the attention, or if her ego is not fed, she'll make it so that it's fed. And she has told me that before. And she does it without recognizing. And what she'll do is, even with people that she likes, is that if there's something like you're saying, oh, you know, it's my birthday and my birthday stuff. Well, no one cares about your birthday. She doesn't really, why are you talking about it? But I'm not saying she's a bad person. She's not. She has good qualities. But it's hard to, I don't want to use the word hate, but it's hard to dislike somebody when you know that at the end of the day, yeah, they're human. They have their flaws, but at the same time, you kind of look at the stuff they do and think, what's really going on? Why are you doing this?
It's crazy because, like, yeah, I know a couple of people who are in the business of bullying people. I knew bullies in high school. I knew people who made fun of people constantly, and like, you know, there were times where I was passive about it. You know, there's times where you just laugh at something because you don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like you think it's funny, but you're like, like, okay, you're making fun of this person for no reason. This is hilarious, but you really don't think it's funny. It's not a good solution, and it's not a good way to steer people in the right direction in terms of how to treat each other and in terms of how to treat people. I've been the person to speak up against, you know, groups of kids or like kids who were talking to other kids in a way that was, you know, that had disregard for the respect of the person. I've been that person to, like, you know, I've been the person to sever ties with groups of people who weren't into, you know, inclusion and they weren't into positivity. And what sucks about doing that is, like, when you separate yourselves from people who are bullies, they look at you and they try to make you a target of what they do as well. But you have to be willing to stand up for what's right. You've got to be willing to take the hit, take the bullet, so to speak. Like them for certain reasons. There's a good chance that, you know, they might not be around forever, or they might turn on you and, you know, start feeding their ego. And, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people who have those qualities, anybody's a target. And what sucks about that is that, like, again, they need friends. You know, bullies need people who they can associate themselves with. And a lot of the times, people alienate themselves when they start, you know, firing at whoever. And there's got to be a way for us to not let that happen. But again, we'll talk about solutions after. Do you know somebody who's a victim of bullying? What would you tell them, or what do you tell them? I mean, we have a victim of bullying today. And we did try to tell you to keep your cool, you know, like, people love you regardless. Like, you're not somebody who is, you know, it's not like nobody likes you. Because, you know, some bullies will do that. Some bullies will make a kid feel like nobody likes. They'll have friends, they'll have family. And it's like they, for some reason, feel like this one person dictates what everybody else feels, even if these other people in your life will tell you otherwise. So, I mean, for me, when I see people who are going through a tough time because of what people are saying to them, I try to tell them about what they're good at. I remind them about their qualities. I remind them that they're here. We're all here for a reason. We all serve a purpose. A lot of bullies don't know their purpose yet, so they, you know, they swing blindly, so to speak. But for me, like, I like to tell, I'm just the kind of person to tell people to utilize their talents, believe in what they're about. Like, I asked you guys to believe in the things that you said you're about, because they matter. Like, this is the framework for the person you're going to be later in life. And, you know, somebody who's antagonizing you, somebody who's bothering you, pestering you like that, they shouldn't be the reason you stop doing the things you plan on doing. Because if I stopped being the person who was doing things like facilitating discussions in high school, or, you know, sometimes I'd be the person to write like daily reflections and speak on the PA in the morning. And I had things to say to the school, and, you know, even after I said those things, some people would come up to me and give me underhanded compliments or make fun of the fact that I was like, you know, people gave me that teacher's pet sort of label, even though I wasn't necessarily that. I was just the kind of person who I genuinely wanted people to do well, because I felt like if we all did it at the same time, we'd be even stronger. Like, I wanted high school to be a community, but of course, you know, even with the world at large, if you look at it, there's always going to be people who want to do the wrong thing or the bad thing, or, like, you know, they want to be a rebel. not a true rebel in the sense that, you know, but I mean like the rebel that's not the true rebel that you're talking about. And I don't know, just try and continue to tell people to do what they do. Like, you have to keep going. The greatest people in the world have haters, you know what I mean? People don't like Obama for whatever reason. People don't like Jay-Z, people don't like, you know, the people we see on TV, like as much as people admire them, there's always the flip side. So when I look at celebrities, and again, as an artist who goes through that, people don't like me for whatever reason. A lot of people, even in high school, a lot of people thought I was full of myself. They thought I was an egomaniac. And it was like, I didn't even realize that that was the image I was portraying. I really just wanted people to do well. And again, some people understood that, and other people didn't. Given the fact that I was valedictorian in my high school, clearly more people were on board than people who weren't. So like, and you know what's crazy about that? Teachers as well can either bully you or support you. And I don't know, I've had teachers who tried to make fun of, even teachers who saw what I was doing, they tried to make fun of like the fact that I was that kid who was out and about getting it, trying to like, you know, write plays or do this or do that, write music, try and play basketball. I was terrible at that, by the way. And you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff, it bothered me that it's like some teachers wouldn't even find a means to like support what I was doing without letting me know that it was kind of funny that I was this kid. Like teachers spoke on my race. I'm not even kidding. Teachers spoke on the fact that I was young and black and smart. Yep.
Yeah, it was like the other day my math teacher, he made a comment about how like I didn't understand the question. He was like, shouldn't you be blonde then or something? And it was, or should my hair be blonde? And it was like, why would you say that? Like, yeah, and it made it funny for like a second, but then when you really think about it,
like, yeah, like no, like you're a teacher. Like,
yeah.
You cannot make those kinds of jokes. Like unless you guys are like really, like I don't know, I still don't think it's appropriate because some kids will go home and internalize that for real. And then if a teacher tells you that and then a bully tells you that, where are you going? You're gonna go home, you're gonna go, like if you're a mean, are you gonna go home and tell your mom that? Because she's probably
bullying you even more.
Exactly, like what do you, like, you know, like these are spaces where you're asking people to help facilitate who you are, you're asking people to help hone your crafts, and like, you know, high school is a community where you need this community to work for you. Otherwise, you know, kids end up doing things like getting depressed and literally taking their own lives. Like we all have stories, we all know people who've gone through this, and it's like, it's crazy that you go through that, because life is such a gift. For me, my big thing is like, you're alive, so go and do what you're meant to do while you're here, because we're not all here forever. And that was part of my valedictorian speech. And you know, like bullies are like, why would you take that away from people? Like, why would you attribute to that? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. What kinds of bullying are you aware of? You know, a lot of people go through.
Well, last week we had sales and actually went through the types of bullying. And what I can remember, I wrote down was physical, social, and there was cyberbullying.
Physical, yeah. That's about right.
Yeah.
Could you guys spiritual bullying?
Spiritual. Like you mean if somebody was to make fun of your religion?
Yeah. Like, oh, you should eat this because it's way better than what you believe in. Yeah.
But it's the method of delivery.
Oh, okay.
So social,
yeah.
that would fit under social. And yeah, you're right about that, because it's strange that people will disrespect your religion. Like that's happened. I've seen that happen. Like, you know, because at the Ville, again, the Ville's a Catholic school, and like, you know, you had the one or two kids who weren't necessarily Catholic, and I've seen it happen where groups of Catholic kids, even like within the same sort of religion, like would start to talk about, you know, other people's religion or denomination, and it's like, why are we talking about this like this in a space where, like, you know, parents are told that, like, even if you're not Catholic, you can come to these schools because the space is going to be inclusive, it's going to be positive. You go to the school now as the child, and you're not sharing that experience, and it doesn't make sense because, you know, not everybody's Catholic. Some people are going to be Muslim, some people are going to be Buddhist, or whatever the case is, and that's not necessarily something that should happen at all. And you're right, like it's not spiritual bullying, so to speak, but like it's definitely something that exists, and it's definitely something that should be addressed. Even public school, of course, I'm sure it happens. Like, I didn't go to a public high school, but I'm sure it's probably, I don't want to say it's worse, because I mean, Catholic schools are pretty bad in general in terms of like the way kids treated each other. Kids just don't treat each other properly. Like, I don't know what it is. I think we're all trying to find ourselves in like, in doing that, we sit in our corners and anything that's different from our views or perspectives, we try to reject it instead of just respect it. Like, a lot of
Because
the
we're brought
time,
up in this capitalist society that doesn't only talk to our wallet, it talks to our competitive nature.
yes.
And even if we're competitive by nature, that's completely different than acting a fool in public, competing against people on the regular.
Like literally day by day, it's like you're setting out to do this, even though you don't have to. Like, it's not part of anybody's agenda to hear what you have to say about that, but for some reason you want to be heard. And I don't understand. And it's strange because like you're right. It's a Western way of thinking. Like when I used to do workshops for kids before, the name of my workshop was Each One Teach One, and that comes from an African philosophy, an African point of view, where like that whole it takes a village to raise a child, and like high schools need to think like that. Kids need to think like that because we're all bringing something to the table.